When I say quality, y'all say housing. Quality.
Housing.
Quality.
Housing.
When I say quality, y'all say housing.
Housing. Housing.
Quality.
Housing.
Que queremos vivienda asequible. ¿Y cuándo?
Ahora.
¿Qué queremos?
Vivienda asequible.
¿Y cuándo?
Ahora.
¿Qué queremos?
Vivienda asequible.
¿Cuándo?
Ahora.
¿Qué queremos?
Vivienda asequible.
¿Cuándo?
Ahora.
Bueno, un aplauso para ustedes que están aquí en el día de hoy. Vamos a hacer muy fácil un roll call. We're going to do a quick roll call. Show some love to all the groups that are out here today. If you didn't hear your group at the end of this, just shout it out loud. And respect to all the folks for coming out tonight. So I know NYCC is in the building.
Yeah!
Is Vocal New York here?
Yeah!
Churches United for Fair Housing?
Yeah!
Fifth Avenue Committee?
Yeah!
Cav?
Yeah!
Make the Road New York?
Yeah!
Legal Aid?
Yeah!
You have
Yeah!
the Community Service Society?
Yeah!
ANHG?
Yeah!
Met Council?
Yeah!
St. Nick's?
Yeah!
And the Urban Justice Center. And with that, I'm going to kick it off to Harvey Epstein.
What do we want?
Quality housing.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Quality housing.
When do we want it?
Now.
All right. Thank you very much. So Jose and I are going to MC today, and thank you all for coming out. So there's two things before us today. We have a hearing at 10 o'clock today to talk about the Alternative Enforcement Program and increasing fines for HPD violations. This is really about the future of New York and what do we want it to look like. And quality housing is a critical piece of that. And today we are fortunate to have this before us, have a hearing to start talking to the city and talking to the administration and how we can improve these programs. In 2007, the city passed the AEP program. And the idea then, with advocates just like us all today, was saying we need to do something about distressed buildings. We need to do something today. And the city came to the table and talked to us. And fortunately in 2007 we were able to pass a law. But now we need more. We need more enforcement of problem buildings. We need to increase the number of units that are getting supervised. We need to improve the quality of housing, and we need to increase the fines that HPD leverages against landlords who don't follow the law. And today I want to really support us moving forward in the idea of what quality housing looks like. So we have some real champions here. We want to introduce them today. And first I'm going to introduce our city council member, Richie Torres, who's going to lead us off today about what this means for us, what it means for his district, for his community, and Zoraya Conde, who's a member of Make the Road. Let's bring them up now.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I'm Councilmember Richie Torres, and I represent the Central Bronx. And as all of you know, housing's been an important subject of conversation. The mayor has an ambitious plan to create and preserve 200,000 units of affordable housing.
Yes.
Jose, do you want to translate as I say? Create or preserve 200,000 units of affordable housing. But as you know, there's more to housing than affordability. There's housing quality. What good is an apartment that is affordable but is barely livable? And so we should see livable housing as a foundation for affordability.
Estamos aquí hoy para explicar la idea del consejo y también del alcalde que queremos crecer y proteger a los inquilinos que ya están viviendo dentro de edificios que son accesibles y donde uno puede realmente pagar su renta. Pero ¿qué es un apartamento donde uno puede pagar si las condiciones con que uno vive son condiciones que no son saludables para el pueblo de Nueva York?
And so we're here to announce that the City Council, in partnership with all these advocacy organizations, we're going to take the lead in improving the quality of our housing stock through two bills, which we refer to as the Housing Quality Act.
Estamos aquí como el consejo para decir hoy que vamos a expandir y dar más recursos a la ciudad para que puedan proteger los inquilinos que están viviendo bajo las malas condiciones con que estamos viviendo. Hoy mismo vamos a tener una audiencia para escuchar de dos de esas leyes.
Now, these two bills are only the beginning. There are more to come. But the Housing Quality Act has two components. The first would impose fees on landlords who repeatedly fail to correct dangerous or immediately dangerous conditions.
Las leyes tienen dos componentes. La primera es que vamos a estar seguros que los landlords o los dueños, que son los más malos caseros aquí en la ciudad, que le estamos metiendo multas por no reparar las condiciones más malas con que estamos viviendo.
And the second component would expand the AEP program to include the 280 worst buildings in the city.
La segunda es expandir la programa de HPD que se llama el Alternative Enforcement Program, que es una ley o un programa que protege a los 200 edificios más malos aquí en la ciudad, y lo que queremos hacer es crecer ese programa de 200 edificios a 280 edificios.
Now, I'm going to describe the first component. Councilmember Reynoso will describe the second component. But under the current system, in most cases, landlords have no incentive to make repairs in individual apartments.
Ahora mismo, bajo de este sistema, los caseros no tienen ningún incentivo para reparar y gastar el dinero para reparar las condiciones más malas en que vivimos.
So if you're a tenant and you have dangerous or immediately dangerous conditions in your apartment, you're told to call 311. And 311 will connect you to HPD, who will send an inspector to issue what is known as a notice of violation. The problem with the notice of violation is that it's a little like a parking ticket without a fine. And no driver in the history of humanity has ever paid a parking ticket without a fine.
Ahora mismo el proceso es que cuando uno tiene una violación, uno llama al 311. Y cuando uno llama al 311, mandan inspectores que meten violaciones a los caseros. Pero lo que pasa ahora mismo es que esas violaciones es como metiendo una multa de parking, pero sin dinero que uno tiene que pagar. Así es que no hay ninguna razón porque uno vas a tener que arreglar esas violaciones si sabe al fin del día que no vas a tener que pagar.
And so the same tenant could call HPD again for the same conditions, and HPD would issue a notice of violation, which ultimately is a meaningless piece of paper, and nothing happens.
Y si uno sigue con esas condiciones, uno sigue llamando a HPD. Y cuando uno sigue llamando a HPD, mandan más inspectores. Pero cada vez pasa lo mismo. Violación, no hay multa, no tienen que pagar y las reglas no pasan.
And so you have tenants who are caught in a never-ending cycle of waiting and waiting and waiting for repairs that never come.
Y tenemos inquilinos que están esperando en un ciclo vicioso, donde estamos esperando y esperando para las reparaciones que nunca llegan.
And so our mission here is to break that cycle. Our mission here is to create an incentive for every landlord to make repairs in individual apartments.
La misión del día de hoy es romper ese ciclo. Estar seguro que cuando hay violación y cuando el casero no está arreglando, que algo se hace para proteger a esos inquilinos.
And so here's how we're going to do it. The Housing Quality Act is going to put in place a 3 strikes rule.
Así es como lo vamos a hacer. Esta ley vas a poner en cuenta un ley de 3 strikes.
So if HPD inspects an apartment,
Everybody knows who's
okay, we have a controversy about 3 strikes.
We were introduced to strike by baseball, which is an American sport. So we just called it an extra.
Baseball's a Latin American sport.
So if HPD inspects your apartment and finds a dangerous or immediately dangerous condition, a Class B or Class C violation, and the landlord fails to correct those conditions within the legal time frame, the landlord will have 1 strike. And once he has,
Si HPD entra y mete una de esas violaciones y mandan a sus inspectores, esa violación se va a considerar como el primer strike.
Good.
and once you have 3 strikes, then the landlord will have to pay a fee for every inspection that HPD makes in that apartment.
Ya cuando el casero llega al third strike, donde llega un inspector 3 veces, la próxima vez ese inspector vas a tener el poder para echar una multa de dinero por tener que venir a la casa tantas veces por las mismas violaciones.
So the message of our bill is directed not toward every landlord, but toward repeat offenders.
Así es que esta ley no es dirigido a todos los caseros, pero es dirigido a los caseros que tiempo y tiempo atrás están rompiendo la ley y no están arreglando.
The message for those landlords is very simple. 3 strikes and you're out.
El mensaje es muy simple. Bueno,
3 strikes
Yes!
and that's it.
tenemos a Zoraida.
Good morning, my name is Zoraida. I'm a tenant from 383 Sumter. I live in Brooklyn for 7 years. I'm a member of Make the Road by Walking for the 7 last. I live in the same building under barrier owners. Time and time again, the owners who came and were negligent and refused to make repairs in my apartment. In fact, the only repairs that have been seen were the emergency repairs the city made itself. In my apartment, we have leaks in my back room, living room, bedroom. They are so bad that I start to make forms in the wall. In addition, my back door needs to be replaced. My front door needs to be changed out. My roof needs repairs. My apartment is not a place to live. The lack of repairs in my buildings has caused 4 of the 6 families to pick up and leave. Exactly what the landlord wants. Of the 86 violations in my building, 65 are Class B violations, and 23 they are in my apartment alone. They are more than 2 years. Over and over again, I call to make complaints, and HPD show up, tell me what I already know, that my apartment is in a bad shape. Today, I'm here because I believe that we need to give HPD more tools to go after bad actor landlords. Since city penalties only can be collected after broken court process, landlords can get away with no paying for their negligence. If we allow HPD to change a $2,000 inspection fee after the 3rd complaint based on violation in 1 year without court intervention, it could be help force landlords to complain. As a tenant who live with horrific conditions, I can continue to wait for the landlord to fix in my closet.
Bueno, aquí está Zoraida brevemente en español. Zoraida ahora mismo vive en un lugar donde tienen 86 violaciones. De esos 86, 65 son de clase B. 23 de todas esas violaciones existen ahora mismo en el apartamento de Zoraida. Y así es que Zoraida, la historia de ella es la misma historia que tenemos muchos de nosotros. Que estamos llamando al 311. Y lo que hacen es mandar un inspector que nos va a dirigir ya lo que sabemos, que el apartamento no está bueno, no está justo para uno vivir. El problema es que ella no necesita saber el problema, ella ya lo sabe, necesita reparaciones. Así es que Zoraida dice que hoy mismo está aquí para apoyar la ley, para meterle multas adicionales cuando vienen a hacer inspecciones después de la 3ª vez, si no empiezan a corregir las violaciones que existen en su apartamento. Un aplauso para Zoraida.
3 strikes?
Yeah, we were joined now by Councilman Brad Landers. Thank you for joining us. And also tenants and neighbors are here, so thank you both. So next we want to bring up Councilmember Antonio Reynoso, and then we'll also bring up Arania Sanchez, who's a member of Make the Road. Councilman Reynoso, thank you very much.
I want to thank all the organizations for coming, especially the 4 from my district. I have 4 from my district that are actually here, Make the Road New York, Southside United HDFC, Churches United for Fair Housing, and St. Nick's. I really appreciate the support from everyone. And now it's time to support the rest of the city of New York, especially those that have issues in buildings that are in disrepair or in need of repair. In gentrifying areas like Bushwick and Williamsburg, in my district, landlords are using this investment to displace rent-regulated tenants. Established as part of the Safe Housing Act of 2007, AEP currently requires HPD to identify 200 of the city's most poorly maintained buildings and target them for repair. If the landlord of an AEP building does not address the violations within 4 months, HPD will undertake the necessary repairs on its own and bill the landlord for the cost. All indicators show that the program is working. As of 2012, of 800 buildings identified for AEP, 53% were repaired to a level meriting discharge from the program. Of these, 25% had violations corrected by landlords within 4 months, with no resources spent by HPD. This year, the City Council provided $750,000 in additional funding for AEP program. With this allocation, it is possible for the program to expand its reach to tenants in need. Intro 345 would allow HPD to alter its AEP criteria in order to expand the program from 200 to a minimum of 280. This bill and the reinspection fee bill proposed by Councilmember Torres are two of the strongest pieces of housing preservation legislation moving in the City Council right now. They will help Mayor de Blasio with the housing preservation goal and help hold landlords accountable and improve quality of life for low-income tenants. So once again, if your building is in disrepair and has a certain level of Class B and C violations, the city is going to repair it, but we're going to give you the bill. We're going to make sure the landlord is responsible for the work that was done. Ahora le quiero decir en español de una vez que en este momento tenemos 200 edificios que nosotros en la ciudad de Nueva York ha arreglado. Cuando ellos lo arreglan, le dan la multa o el bill al dueño, al casero de la vivienda. Eso dice que nosotros podemos vivir en casas de calidad sin tener que preocuparnos porque le dimos la multa al dueño, no al teniente. Y eso es muy importante. Hoy lo que estamos haciendo, lo vamos a meter de 200 edificios, vamos a ponerlo a 280 edificios. Asegurar que más gente pueda beneficiar de esta legislación. Y al lado con el concejal Richie Torres del Bronx, que tiene una ley que dice 3 strikes y está afuera, o en la República Dominicana dicen un poncho de chocolate. Con 3 strikes, un poncho de chocolate, también van a recibir una multa. Otra vez nosotros lo que estamos haciendo, asegurando que cuando una ley pase, que tenga dientes, dicen, que sea fuerte, que tenga la oportunidad de haber una diferencia. Y estoy orgulloso de poder presentarlo aquí al lado de mi concejal, de un amigo mío, el concejal Richie Torres, y también para estar aquí con el concejal Brad Land. Y ahora a una amiga mía de Make the Road a hablar sobre su historia. Please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mi nombre es Irania Sánchez, soy residente del 76 de George Street, un edificio de alquiler estabilizado en Bushwick. Y soy miembro de Se Hace Camino a Nueva York. Durante 9 años he vivido en este apartamento con mi madre y mis 2 hijas. Ambas personas sufrimos de asma severa, mis hijas, mi madre y yo. Somos personas incapacitadas con problemas de salud. En octubre del 2012, las cosas tomaron un giro para peor. Mi edificio fue vendido y el nuevo propietario intimidó y presionó a mi madre. Acabó con toda la gente en el edificio. Toda esa gente fueron sacadas. Nosotros tuvimos que estar dentro del lugar del apartamento porque no teníamos donde vivir. ¿Lo leo todo?
Sí, siga.
Okay. Sin importarle que todavía vivíamos en el edificio, el nuevo propietario comenzó la demolición del edificio de las otras 5 unidades. La caldera fue removida, las paredes fueron derribadas, el agua se filtró por todo el edificio, el apartamento. En mis techos y la ventana estaba cubierta con madera contrachapada. Aquí hay algunas fotos de mi apartamento. Antes de la aparición, nadie debe vivir de esta manera. Pienso que es inhumano vivir de la manera que nosotros vivimos. No hay respeto a las personas que estamos enfermos. No hay respeto para nuestra comunidad. Con el apoyo de Se Hace Camino a Nueva York, yo presenté un caso en corte de vivienda para mejorar mis condiciones de vida, pero no llegó a nada. El proceso de corte se trasladó poco a poco y el propietario continuó su terrible comportamiento. Finalmente, en enero del 2014, el que estamos, se añadió a mi edificio el programa de ejecución alternativa de HPD. Inspectores de AEP vinieron a mi edificio sobre una base regulada y emitieron multa cada vez que salían. De repente el propietario era muy sensible, que quería arreglar las cosas de inmediato para evitar más multas. Le tomó casi 2 años ver la reparación después de la primera idea a la corte. Después de la ida a la corte, perdón. Pero que podría haber tomado mucho más tiempo si no hubiera sido por la presión del programa alternativo de cumplimiento. Aquí están las fotos de mi apartamento después de las reparaciones que se realizaron a través de EAP, mientras que mi familia se encuentra ahora en un buen lugar. Todavía hay demasiadas familias de toda la ciudad que luchan contra los propietarios negligentes que a menudo se preocupan más por el dinero que por las personas. Si hay un programa que trabaja para apoyar a la familia vulnerable y que está alineado con la meta de nuestra ciudad de preservar la vivienda asequible, debemos invertir cada centavo que tenemos en su crecimiento. Nuestra recomendación es simple: crecer el programa de cumplimiento alternativo, un buen programa con una trayectoria comprobada en un 50%. El impacto que este programa tendrá en los cientos de familias adicionales que cubriría no tiene precio, porque somos seres humanos que merecemos vivir decentemente, sin atropello y sin acoso de los dueños caseros. Muchas gracias.
¡Te queremos! ¡Te queremos!
¡Vivienda asequible!
¡Te queremos!
¡Vivienda asequible!
¿Y cuándo?
¡Ahora!
¿Y cuándo?
¡Ahora!
¿Y cuándo?
¡Ahora!
Now we want to bring up Councilman Brad Landers. Thank you.
So my Spanish is not good, but I did some research since the prior speech, and as I understand it, the chant would be tres estrellas un ponche. Can we try that? Tres estrellas un ponche. Tres estrellas un ponche. The strikes. You're out. Very good. This is a great set of advocates and organizations who have been fighting to improve the lives of tenants and housing quality for years, and we want to thank Make the Road and New York Communities for Change, because the original Housing Quality Act and the creation of the Alternative Enforcement Project and Urban Justice Center comes from your advocacy and creativity and has made an enormous difference. It has been quite simply our most effective program for improving living conditions for low-income and working-class tenants. If you look overall in the city, it looks like housing conditions are improving because gentrification means landlords invest in improving housing quality in neighborhoods where they can raise the rents, where they can displace tenants, where they can bring new people in. But if you focus on the buildings that remain for working class and low-income families, you don't see those improvements. That's why this act is so deeply needed. So I want to give great credit to 2 new council members who have in a very short period of time become real champions of tenants, Councilmember Antonio Reynoso and Councilmember Richard Torres, who are going to carry forward the work we've been doing and you've been doing on housing quality in this session to improve conditions for tenants in those places where we need it most. So thank you. Let's get it done. Tres Estreques! Tres Estreques! All right, very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Landers. Now I want to bring up Otis Daniels, who's a member of Vocal.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for Equality Housing Act. My name is Otis Daniels. I am a Vocal member and I live in the Bronx, New York. I want to thank council members Jamani Williams, Antonio Vanoso, and Brad Lander. Most importantly, I want to thank Council Member Richie Torres for his leadership on this issue. I'm here from Vocal New York family to say we have your back and want to make sure the Quality Housing Act becomes reality. My building in the Bronx is a hazard to my health. Currently, we have a bedbug problem, cracked stairways, mildew in the hallways and in the apartment. Some windows don't work properly, and a front door that does not close and allows anyone at any time of day to walk in and out of the building. The landlord knows about these problems, but yet nothing is being done. The fight for affordable housing in this city is not just about building new housing, it's also about protecting the housing we already have. The various majorities of low income and working class New Yorkers live in rent stabilized apartments across the city. We have to make sure that these buildings remain in good condition. This issue is very important for members of Vocal New York who are living with chronic illnesses. Some of these code violations are detrimental to our health. The Quality Housing Act will not impact those landlords who are taking care of their property, but those landlords who are not and need to be held accountable. Thank you.
Mi nombre es Otis, soy un miembro de Vocal New York, vivo ahora mismo en el Bronx y en mi apartamento tenemos muchas violaciones. Tenemos bedbugs, tenemos rotadas en las paredes, en los pisos y el puerta del edificio ahora mismo no tiene un lock. Así es que cada persona que quiera entrar puede entrar cuando le da la gana. Estoy aquí para apoyar estas leyes, estoy aquí para decir muchas gracias a los concejales y a todos los grupos. Queremos que estamos listos sabiendo que lo más importante en la ciudad ahora mismo es preservar los edificios donde ya viven familias y arreglar esos edificios para que estamos viviendo bajo condiciones saludables. Así es que muchas gracias a Otis.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniels. Now let's bring up Rob Solano, who's the Executive Director of Churches United for Fair Housing.
So my name is Rob Solano, Executive Director of Churches United for Fair Housing. We represent over 50 churches in Brooklyn, from downtown Brooklyn to Greenpoint to Brownsville to Williamsburg. And what hurts us the most is when we meet people that already have affordable housing and are looking for new affordable housing. And our thought is, if you already have it, it should be at the best quality and it should be there, and you don't have to keep seeking for it, right? In our experience, we're thinking you're already taken care of. We helped you 5 years ago, but to see them come back to say, if they only fix the heat, if they only fix the wall, if they only fix the entrance, I can use this apartment. And for us, we want to make sure that we are advocates. We're hitting the phones, we're hitting the landlords, but it's important to have our council members back us with legislation to make sure that we are in the right. We're morally in the right, and now we're really going to be in the right to make sure that these guys get their act together and we can help those people preserve where they are and then help the other folks that are really in a dire need, that they need to help with new affordable housing. So we want to make sure when we take care of that, when we do it together, we don't have to see you 5 or 10 years from now. there's no reason why your apartment shouldn't be great. The first day you got it, the second day you got it, and when your grandkids grow up there, that apartment should be the way you expect it to be. So I'm glad to be here. I'm not going to need Jose because I'm going to do my own broken Spanish, and I think I should use Jose. Pero mi nombre es Roberto Solano, soy el director ejecutivo de Iglesias Unidas y cada día nosotros ayudamos gente a buscar nuevos apartamentos para viviendas. Que rompa el corazón de nosotros es cuando encontramos a la gente que ya tiene un apartamento y ya está bien y simplemente necesita un poquito de ayuda para que lo arreglen el apartamento y no va a necesitar un nuevo apartamento. So, para nosotros la misión es siempre, si tenemos un apartamento o consigamos un apartamento juntos, que ese apartamento es bueno hoy, mañana, 10 años, 15 años, que ese apartamento siempre es bueno para ustedes. Y ahora con los concejales Richie y Antonio, tenemos la oportunidad ahora para tener la ley para ayudar a nosotros. So, gracias a ustedes. En la iglesia decimos que cuando queremos algo, se tiene que decir que viva. So, nosotros queremos apartamentos buenos para siempre. ¡Que viva!
So I want to thank the leadership of Councilman Torres and Councilman Reynoso today. And now if there's any questions, we're happy to take them now. Is there any questions from the press? All right. What do we want?
Quality housing.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Quality housing.
When do we want it?
Now.
Thank you, everyone.